called Etude by Sibelius, and I came across this piece because it's on my mom and I's morning playlist. So when I come out in the morning, mom is almost always up and doing something, and almost always has the same playlist on, full of Baroque music and some other classical music like this one. So this is one of my favorite songs on that playlist, and when I play it, I like to think of the bright morning energy. Florence was an African-American woman born in the 1880s in Arkansas. And her mom was a piano teacher. She went to the New England Royal Conservatory of Music. And her compositions are a really cool mix of European classical music with African-American spirituals and folk song. The title is Sketches in Sepia. Sepia is kind of like a reddy brown hue. I didn't know what it was, but when I explained this, it was often used in photography before multicolored pictures that either have black and white or be in sepia. And when I explained this to my grandpa yesterday when I was playing on Zoom for him, and he was like, oh yeah, I knew what that was because his dad, so my great-grandpa, was a photographer. And so when my grandpa would help him out in the dark room when he was little, then they'd either be developing the films in black and white or in sepia. And so nowadays, sepia is often associated with nostalgia, looking back on the past. For example, in The Wizard of Oz, the first and last scene before Dorothy gets into the land of Oz are in sepia. So as I play this, I like to think of a feeling of nostalgia, looking back on the past, and the joy and beauty and complexity that comes with that. ton of really deep emotions. And so as I've been working on it this semester, I've been focusing on picking an emotion or a story to tell with each part of it and letting that guide my dynamics and my movements and my other artistry. The first movement is especially, shows this. It starts off with a really desperate, kind of longing, grief. There's a lot of feelings in there. And then that's pretty slow. And then that feeling alternates with a more anxious, hopeful energy throughout the movement. In this first movement, you'll hear a lot of a repeated ostinato rumbling bass. It's kind of like this. So we hear that throughout. And then the second movement is much calmer, slower, and has one of the most beautiful and well-known melodies from all of classical music. The melody has been used in commercials, in pop music. For example, one of Billy Joel's songs, one of the choruses uses this melody. That song is a love song. It's got drums playing underneath it. It's quite joyful. In contrast, when my mom was in high school and someone she didn't know too well asked her to play at a funeral, she went to her piano teacher and said, "What do I play?" And they recommended this second movement as well. So as I play it, I'm curious if you'll hear more grief and sadness or more quiet joy and love. And then it ends with the third movement. And this is the movement that drew me to this sonata in the first place. It's one of the pieces my mom used to play as we go to sleep at night sometimes. And so I've been playing it kind of since high school, been messing around with it a little bit. And one thing that's fun about this movement is it's in Rondo form, which means it starts off with a theme, and then we'll go to a different melody, and then come back to the first theme, go to a third melody, come back to the first theme, etc. But keeping on coming back to that first theme. And so it kind of feels like going home after the semester, and home is similar, but because you've seen different things throughout the semester, it feels kind of different each time. So you can recognize it. That theme that keeps coming back starts like this. So you'll hear that throughout the third movement. So as I play this last piece, I'm curious what emotions speak the most to you today. What emotions could you have connected with at some time in the past? And I hope you can just enjoy this very raw and beautiful expression of what it is to be human. There are berries and strawberries